Brother Theo and I have tried for the last few years to fuse a bond between the right and the left, but we found no common ground until this morning. While discussing this morning's second article on WordPress, you can find it in the description, by the way, we were debating the same right left problems we always do when we both had an epiphany. It was so obvious that a blind man could have seen it, and it was disturbing. We can't make America great again. America is lost. So we got on a conference call and we devised this article that you're about to hear. The first part is Brother Theo. The second part is mine. We had arrived overnight at the same opinions of where we're going. And he wrote his and I wrote mine, and we compared notes and we published it. And you can find the link to this article down in the description, as I said. I'm a monkey's uncle, and you are too. We should have known after the primary results in 2016 that the logo on the red cap should have said, "Make it America again," instead of "Make America Great Again." The handwriting was on the wall back then, and had Americans realized it then, they would have understood that what we have been living in and calling America hasn't been America for a long time. But then, that would have required thinking skills above those of your average seaman. A goal we publicly discarded when our nation gave up the notion of democracy. The truth is, we are a little better than monkeys. When it comes to maintaining the ideals of our founding fathers, at times it seems to me that we're an ever-growing horde of monkeys infesting the ruins of once great civilization. It is not a point that needs proving in my opinion, but for you less apt Sibians, try this on. We built the Hoover Dam. Anyone who thinks we could do that again, raise your paw. We have a southbound bus on the hour that leaves. We made Social Security and Medicare, and had not the earth of our long series of presidential mistakes not been provided the keys to the lockbox, it would have been one of the greatest contributors of our GDP today. But monkeys don't think past the banana stuffed in their mouth right now. Anyone who thinks we could pass any legislation to bolster the safety net like Social Security or Medicare again, just start walking south now. Several express vehicles are available. Another George Washington Bridge? We can't even create a barbed wire fence on our border with a builder in the White House. Now I know some of the chimps and some of the orangutans believe Obamacare was comparable to the feats of the America's past heroes, but it wasn't. Obamacare was an outright disgrace to Democrats, and they at least should have seen plainly that I am a Democrat monkey myself, we're no longer Democrats, we were just monkeys. Obamacare visibly shifted money from the pockets of the middle class and the working poor to pay for the health care of the poor and the disadvantaged. It isn't that the poor and disadvantaged should not have health care, that's just human. It's that the middle class is a social group that smart people, those of smooth-skinned folk that look a little like us, know that should be expanded, but you can't do that while you're stripping them of their own insurance and making them poor. Here's a simple fact I wish I could disguise as a fistful of peanuts to get your attention. Under LBJ, the top earners in America pay 70% in income tax, and down 21% from JFK's presidency. The corporate taxes were about 48%, down 32%. Now, I'm not good at math, but I do have a calculator, and I can clearly see how society might have created a healthcare system that serviced the needs of the poor and the disadvantaged was far less strain on the middle class than ours, whose top earners pay 63% less in taxes. In other words, since we began the process of taxing the top earners, the middle class and the working poor got to get the mono. I'm telling you, it works. Whip out your abacus and give it a whirl. Now, I don't blame the big monkeys up in the temples for robbing us blind. Heck, it's their job. Do not make the mistake of thinking that our celebrity monkeys are public servants of some rich guy like you and me. Your thoughts. I responded with this, which I wrote this morning early before I talked to Ted. The great experiment has failed. The melting pot never blended the ingredients. It just chicken fried the dream until it was just plain old McDonald's. During the Revolution, we effectively overthrew the British Empire. Silly thing. Little island like that acting like an empire, overreaching its bonds and a bunch of hillbillies with squirrel guns handed it its face. They should have seen it coming. So the dream of America was born. High ideals were set. All men may have been created equal, but by the time their mother's water burst, they were ushered into a world where some are more equal than others. The right and left came into being. Neither side had anything figured out. With the liberals riding their unicorns and the conservatives riding white stallions, they rushed to the abyss known as the American dream. And it was all a lie. A lie put in place by royalty created after the Revolutionary War and proliferated ever since. Ever ask yourself why Trump can't get any traction? He's not a member of the royal family. Clinton is. How else could a kid with a Beatles haircut in a state where even the girls had crew cuts become governor? He is Caligula, hidden in the dim recesses until the appointment time. Is there hope? It sure is. Now work with me on this. Texas secession. Stop laughing and sit down. You liberals and conservatives, you are nothing but a cage full of monkeys, squabbling over bananas given to you by the royal family, who laugh and make bets on which one of you gets to live in the big house in the big cage for a period of time. You believe you run this country by the power of your vote. Like Al Green, you run nothing but your mouth. And honey boo boo, nobody's listening. Texas has never been agreeable with the idea of being a part of a dog and pony show and is becoming more disagreeable by the hour. Americans are settlers because they will settle for anything. Obamacare, weird marriages, even laws against straws. Texans will back up in the church and shoot at you. We proved that twice. At the Alamo, we also proved that we simply can't count to 5,000. We took just say no to a whole new level. And you will see the day when Texas will again raise her head among the nations. So stop laughing, conservatives, liberals. Stop throwing bananas at each other. Look at the podium. See that orangutan up there, hooting like an ape? That's the boss of you. Put in place by the gorilla who is an employee of the worldwide royal family, who was, is, and ever will. All right, let's have, who all here is a cracker?
Me!
Spare the rod and spoil the child.